listeners, to the Mindful Living podcast, where we explore powerful tools and timeless wisdom to help you live with intention, clarity, and heart. I'm your host, Sana, as always, and listeners, today's episode it is all about transformation, but not just any transformation, the kind that's conscious, empowered, and destiny driven. Yeah. And our guest is someone who's done more than just talk about leadership. He has lived it on a global scale, from coaching 10,000 plus team members across continents to launching a consultancy that champions purpose driven success. Donzel Leggett is the principal at Destiny Development Delta LLC, and he's also the author of the very powerful book, Make Your Destiny Happen. So, today we are going to dive into the intersection of mindfulness and destiny and how the Destiny Development Delta model equips individuals and leaders to rewrite their stories, their own path, and actually create transformational outcomes, personally and professionally. So, with that, Donzel, welcome to the show, and I'm really, really honored to have you here with us.
Santa, thank you so much. What a wonderful introduction. It clearly is a powerful platform that you've created here with the topic of mindfulness. And I love how you made the interconnection between my upcoming book, Make Your Destiny Happen, which launches August 26th, to the platform that you have here, which is so needed, especially right now. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tonsil, for your kind and encouraging words. And with that, let's try to understand the role of mindfulness. So, your book, Make Your Destiny Happen, it speaks to taking ownership of one's life, which I absolutely strongly believe in. So, in a world which is often overwhelmed by, external pressures and then chaos, how does mindfulness factor into creating your own destiny?
Yeah, it starts with making sure that you take the time to get to know yourself and understand what you truly want authentically um, out of your life. And I've spent over 100,000 hours with over 10,000 different people talking with them about their future, about them taking personal leadership. In those conversations, what I'd say less than 10% of them were able to answer the simple question of what do you want for your life? Where do you see yourself in 20 years? They could tell me what they're looking for tomorrow. They can tell me
Mhm.
maybe what they're looking for in a year or so. But in terms of long-term thoughts about themselves, not about the world, but just about themselves, most of them, vast majority could not do that. And to be mindful, we have to look internally and start with, okay, who really am I? Not what my parents said I should be or not what my friends see, but I know myself. What do I really want? What am I really striving for? Authenticity helps us be able to stand upright, to stand
Yeah.
when we know who we are and face our strengths and our deficiencies. When we do that, then we can be assured of ourselves. We can have confidence in ourselves. And that helps us stand when adversity comes our way. You mentioned all the confusion we have in the world right now, the chaos. In that chaos, you can either wither or stand strong and face that adversity. To me, that's what mindfulness is all about. When we know ourselves, when we're confident in ourselves, when we're willing to take the leadership role for our lives, we can stand up to that adversity and we can do it while also making sure that our lives have balance and that our well being is prioritized. And that's really what Make Your Destiny Happen is all about. It's about being mindful of you taking control of your life as the leader, of you setting the course of where you want to go authentically. And then it's about ensuring that you build in the time and the focus to have
Mhm.
balance and well-being in your life.
Hmm. That definitely makes sense, Tonsil, because whenever people think about mindfulness, meditation, wellness. It kind of gives you a picture about, being silent or being calm, stillness. But then your leadership journey, it also involved high stakes decisions and, global level operations. And it's very natural to have a lot of overwhelming moments or high stakes, I mean, superized, pressurized decisions to make. So how do you reconcile the two? I mean, can mindfulness be active and assertive?
Yeah, and there are a lot of definitions around mindfulness, but you said, most people think of it as meditation, quiet
Mhm.
meditation. I don't quite think of it that way. That's one way, but that's not the only way. To me, it's spending time thinking. And
Oh.
thinking could be, and I think this is where we need more. What I'm trying to help people understand in the book is there's an important part of meditation that's directed at myself. What am I really, again, who am I and what am I trying to do? Facing
Mhm.
my fears, facing where I have deficiencies, and thinking about how I fit in to what needs to happen in terms of my community, my environment, decisions that need to be made. When I spend more time thinking, learning, to me, mindfulness is also about learning. When I'm not spending 2 hours, and this is I think a stat that most people spend 2.5 hours, and it's probably even more than that now, on their phones on social media scrolling.
Yeah.
That's mindlessness, in my opinion. That's
Mhm.
mindlessness. Mindfulness could be maybe you take 30 minutes to meditate, but it also could be you go on an hours long walk where you're not only exercising, but you're quiet and thinking, processing,
Mm,
taking
mm,
information in the environment and processing it. It could also be thinking about potential issues and challenges that could come up and what would you do? But it could also be about, again, self reflection. Who am I? Am I confident in myself? The more you do that, the more that when these big decisions come up, you then can reconcile the fact that there are going to be consequences, there are going to be trade offs, but you can make them. You can stand up to them because, again, you've done the work to stand up. You're authentic in yourself. You've done the
mhm,
work to be confident and assured in yourself. So when, again, adversity comes, the decision may not work out. You're able to make a decision and then pivot off that decision, do something different. So for me, it was always spend time thinking, processing, understanding, being confident in myself and the content, and being confident that, you know what, no decision's perfect. Make the best decision with the information you have, and then
mhm.
very prepared to adjust. Adjusting. That's to me, it all gets back to being mindful. I don't know if you're familiar with the movie Star Wars,
Yeah.
but Yoda, to me, Yoda is a character that kind of epitomizes healthy mindfulness. And there's two statements that Yoda makes or quotes that he talks about. One of them is be mindful, which right in line with what you're talking about. But the other one is really, to me, linked, and people lose sight of it. They kind of disassociate these two. But he says, do or do not. There is no try. And so for me, being mindful is I'm going to do it. I'm not going to talk about meditating. I'm not going to talk about thinking about my future. I'm not going to just talk about learning and continuing to be adept at adjustments that have to be made, being prepared for them. I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to be afraid to make decisions, especially about my life, especially about things that I'm accountable to make. I'll live with the consequences, but I'm going to be prepared to adjust immediately. That's what mindfulness is to me. Always having our minds prepared and not wasting it on mindlessness.
Yeah. I I really, really admire that because it kind of shifts the perspective, and it uh, puts mindfulness as a launch pad rather than a pause button.
Yes.
So that's a really, really powerful reframed also.
Yes. In
Um,
fact,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna expand on that real quick. Part of my model, um, well, first of all, the Destiny Development Delta model, it has a meaning, and what I try to help people understand with the name of the model is destiny is where you're really trying to go. Now, from a business standpoint, it could be your overall goal or where you wanna take your business, but personally, it could be where do you want your life to go? But then development and delta are really important. To me, and this is where mindfulness comes in. We have to be mindful of the fact that we're in a world that is chaotic and that changes in nanoseconds. Things change all the time. It's not a static world. And for us to be able to be successful to navigate our lives or our business, we have to continually develop ourselves. That to me is mindfulness. It's being mindful of the fact I've got to exercise my mind. I've got to challenge my mind, not only to think and to have moments of silence where I could have good well-being, but also to keep my mind sharp and a yearn for learning. Because the more I learn, the more when things change in a nanosecond, I can adjust or predict those changes and have a plan that is well suited for them. So that to me, this model is all about mindfulness in the sense of proactive mindfulness, not the pause button, but the action oriented mindfulness. Exactly what you're talking about.
Mm. And, it's you emphasize, of course, transformational success over just the traditional performance metrics. But
Yes.
if we still look at, from a corporate POV, um, KPIs, they still kind of, dictate the decisions,
Yes.
uh, or any kind of, strategies that are taken up. So how do you get buy-in for this deeper, more mindful approach to success?
By performing, you outperform. And so if you in the book, I have several examples. The book was written in a way that anyone could understand it. I wanted to write a book that was not business speak, where average person to translate it to their life. I wanted to write a book that had business examples, but was written in a way for an average person to understand, and business executives would make the translation. So there's business stories, but the book is written for anyone to understand. But in every one of those business stories, there's 2 things you take away. Number 1, our performance broke through anything that had been done before, surpassed anyone's expectations or imagination of what we could do. But the other thing was it transformed people's lives and made them feel better. So my argument is we need to do both. It's not a either or. I was reading something today where there's a software company that's offering all of its employees buyouts.
Mhm.
And the buyout basically says, "We'll pay you 9 months of salary to leave if you
Okay.
don't wanna work 80 plus hours a week, because 'cause they're gonna require everyone to work weekends, work nights, be there basically 24/7. And if you don't wanna do that, then leave." And, that's their prerogative, and there are people that may want to do that. Great. But if you want a life in which you have balance, they in fact, they literally say, their CEO says, "We do not believe in work-life balance. We don't believe in it. We want you here to drive our business, and that means be here all the time." That's a choice you can make. There may be people whose destiny in their mind, they may have looked at themselves and said, "That's what I wanna do." Good for them. But I think most people would like balance in their lives. I think most people would like to have, some balance. So my view is, why can't we win? Like this CEO says, we want to win in software development. Okay, why can't you win and provide balance? My belief and my history of what I've seen, what I've proven everywhere I've been, I've worked all around the world, is that if you do both, you outperform and sustain over time. Because at some point, if people don't feel good about what they're doing, if they don't have balance in their life, if they can't have a family, what's gonna happen? They're gonna burn out. You're not gonna sustain it. You might win for a couple times, a year or 2, 3 years, 4 years, but you're not gonna be able to sustain it. What I've been able to do is work with people to not only surpass business expectations, bottom line expectations, saving real money to the bottom line more than anyone else did, outperforming metrics, while at the same time outperforming any measure of people's engagement or satisfaction with their work life, and making a difference in how that translated to their personal life because they have better balance in their lives. They have better fulfillment in their lives. My argument is not an either or, it's we can do both. It's an and. That's the best way to do it. Now, again, there'll be people who argue that. Clearly, the CEO for this particular company put it out there, that's what he says. Hey, you work for us and there is no balance. You're here. That's it. I believe there's a better way.
Mm. But then, yeah, I mean, this is a nuanced discussion, I believe, Donzo, because not everyone will have that liberty or privilege to devote maybe 27 hours of their life. Um, they would like to align to more towards, a balanced way of living, or maybe I should rather use the word harmonious way. But
Yes.
then when we talk about making our destiny happen, now some would say that it sounds a bit idealistic, especially for people who are facing systemic barriers or generational trauma. So, how does your model account for those real world limitations?
Yes, we live in a troubled world. There's no question about that, and some people have more advantages than others, for a lot of different reasons. Geographic, ethnic, political. We can go down the list. Gender. There's no question about that. Um, if you read the book, first of all, it talks about success is success in the eyes of the person. It's not success as defined by what other people think. It's not like you were saying, look at who you admire most. I want to be like them. No, this gets back to authentically understanding yourself and deciding who you are and what you want. And you decide what that looks like in terms of career, family, balance, well being, all those things combined. So that's the first thing. Then it's about building a plan to make that happen. Will there be barriers? Yes, there are barriers in this world. Are some people trapped and may not be able to get out of that trap physically because of the circumstances that they're in? Certainly. Um, what we're trying to, at least with the book that I'm trying to espouse, the message I'm trying to get out there is that if you're in a situation where you're not physically held down, I mean, there are people that literally are locked down. There are people that are in situations where they literally are trapped physically, or systemically. Okay, there's so this book is to me about providing hope, but more so, it's about trying to convince and show people who are not trapped and that have the ability and agency that are just allowing themselves to not do anything to number one, identify what their destiny to be, start making it happen. But you'll read in the book, I talk a lot about what my destiny is. And it's about me being successful, creating a positive environment for myself and my family and all those things. But it's also helping others who can't get out. So I've done things in my life and I continue to do things to try to change that systemic structure. So what the message in the book is for those who are not locked down, who have the agency, take control of your life, figure out what you want your destiny to be, make it happen, but bring others along with you.
Exactly.
That's the message that I'm trying to deliver. Because to your point, there are some people, their only way to get out is they're going to need help from others. And my point is, if we can convince enough people to take control of their lives, establish what they want, start make it happen, as they feel better about themselves and they gain assuredness and authenticity, and they see how to activate their transformation, hopefully they follow the path of saying, I've got to help someone else too. That's why I wrote the book. The book was written to inspire others to turn their lives around, take control of it, and as they do that, to help others and change this world.
I love that, Donzel. I really love that because, yeah, empowerment, growth, success, it looks different for everyone. And sometimes just reclaiming agency over one decision is definitely a radical act.
Yes.
And that's a really, really powerful answer. So, Donzel, before we wrap it up, um, if our listeners they would like to get a hold of your book, Make Your Destiny Happen, and explore more about the Destiny Development Delta model, what would be the best way?
Yes, for sure. Well, our website is DestinyDevDelta.com, but you can also get to our website with MakeYourDestinyHappen.com. So if that's all you remember, that's the book's title, MakeYourDestinyHappen.com, and there you'll find some good information on me and on our company and what we're trying to do. You can also find information on the book. The book will be released August 26th. It'll be available in all your favorite retailers to buy books, but for sure, Amazon Books would be a place to go. I would strongly encourage everyone to go on and order a copy that'll be available both digitally and in a hardcover as well. I'll be recording an audio book this fall, so the audio book will be available later this calendar year. Also, if you visit my website again, DestinyDevDelta.com, or again, you can type in makeyourdestinyhappen.com. You can also sign up for our newsletter. And our newsletter provides you with some insights. It also provides you with updates on the book release and things of that nature. I have a podcast. It's not like yours. It's called the Make Your Destiny Happen Petite Podcast. And what I try to do in these petite podcasts is deliver messages that are short, sweet, and to the point. 5 to 6 minutes with me talking about a concept in the book and then using some examples that bring it to life. This first season is out, or at least episode 1 and 2 are available. You can access them from my website, or you can just Google "Make Your Destiny Happen" podcast, and you'll find it. It's both a video version on YouTube as well as an audio version on all your podcast hosting sites. And again, this first season, I'm talking about some concepts in the book and then bringing them to life with some stories from my father, who passed away about 6 months ago, and it's a way for me to honor my father with telling some stories about him that bring to life the lessons in the book. So there's some ways to check me out. Also, you can find me on LinkedIn as well as Facebook and Instagram or IG.
Super, super, Donzel, and that's a really, really smart move, especially the podcast bit. I really love that idea, and I'll make sure to have all the links and details in the show notes for our listeners. And I couldn't thank you enough because you have brought clarity, conviction, power, and compassion to today's conversation. And through Make Your Destiny Happen and your Destiny Development Model, uh, I think it doesn't just inspire people, it gives them a roadmap, a guide, a way to reclaim authorship over their lives, even in the face of adversities. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Santa. You are a wonderful interviewer. You make it very easy to tell the story and to make sure that people walk away with a message that's all about healthy mindfulness. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tonsil. And to all our listeners, if you are feeling stuck, unsure, or if you are ready for more, this episode is your nudge. So go check out Donzel's book. It is going to release on August 26th, and also explore his podcast, his newsletter. I'll have all the links in the show notes for you. Until next time, I'm your host, Sana, and this has been The Mindful Living. Thank you.